Hey guys, welcome back to True Sound Studios. I'm Weezna. Today I'm going to show you guys how to use the Buffaloops drum fills with the Buffaloops drum loops. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how to put a drum fill in the beginning of your song in order to start the song out. I'm also going to show you guys how to change a drum fill or add a drum fill to the end of a drum loop and then also make it sound like it fits in with the track. All right, so let's get into this video. So this entire production came from a previous video where I showed you guys how to set up your DAW to easily use our loops. I will link that video down in the description box down below if you guys want to check it out. So just a little quick refresher, let's take a listen to the track we were working on. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you guys how to do is add a drum fill to the beginning of the song, because right now it just all comes in all at once, but it would be nice to have a little drum fill to start off the song. So what we're going to do is the first thing we need to do is we need to pick our drum fill. So I am going to go to the free Neapolitan pack where I got these from. And in the big vintage drums, there is the drum fills. And let's just grab both of these because we'll use both of them, because once again our song is at 120 beats per minute and we only gave you 2 drum fills in this free pack. There is many more if you guys actually buy the big vintage the full pack. But let's just select both of these, click open, and here is our 2 drum fills. So let me just quickly solo these. Okay, cool. So I think that second drum fill would make a great beginning to the song. I think that should be the drum fill that's going to start this whole song out. For right now, I'm just going to mute the first drum fill. I'm just going to pull it down here for right now. We need to shift our entire song over so that we can make room, make space for this drum fill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just unsolo this. I'm going to do Control A, Control All, which selects everything. I'm going to come up to the top to our snap, and we want to keep it on whole notes. If you want to change it, you just right click. We want to be on whole notes. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in here and zoom in a little bit more. I am going to drag this over to the second measure. So everything got shifted over just one measure. So now this is our drum fill that we just added. I'm going to take this and I'm actually going to drag it forward. So now take a listen. So that's obviously a very easy way to just simply add a drum fill to the beginning of a part. Now, you might ask, all right, well, what if I want to add a drum fill to the end of a drum loop? So let me show you guys that. Now, in that case, I think this second drum fill would be a lot better because it's more similar to what is currently happening. So if I just solo the current drum fill at the end of this drum loop, so let's say for whatever reason, we want to change up these drum fills. We don't want to have it the same. So I'm going to unmute this second drum loop and unsolo this. At measure 9, I think that's where this drum fill is going to come in. So I'm just going to slide this over first. Let's mute this. Let's just make sure. Yeah, measure 9. That's where we want to have it. So I'm actually going to drag this back so we can actually essentially delete that current drum fill because we want to add in this new one. So let me zoom in here again. So right now, if we just solo the current drums and our drum fill, let's take a listen. Couple things that I notice, and these are a few issues with working with drum loops, and the reason why they're not as flexible as having just individual samples or some sort of MIDI drum kit is, number one, if we listen to just the original drum loop, that crash cymbal that we're playing on just stops. It just stops dead. Also, you're going to notice the drum fill actually goes past the following measure and actually goes into the second measure. So that flam on the snare comes in at the same time as the crash on our second drum loop. So you can see right here, if I just zoom in, You can see this is where the next loop starts, and we got that snare flam that's happening. Let's first fix the issue with the crash that just stops. So now if you guys actually buy the big vintage drum kit, you actually get kick crash transitions. What that means is it's just a kick drum with either one crash, the other crash, or both crashes to be able to use with these drum fills. So if we just solo just this one file, that's all it is. But that's also a great way to keep that crash cymbal in there so that it just sounds more natural. So let's go ahead and we'll solo the drum loop that I cut. So now if I solo this with the drum fill, so now you're hearing the kick and the crashes hit all together, but you're also hearing the drum fill start right away, which technically isn't, how you'd be able to play because you couldn't hit the crashes and start a drum fill at the same time. Maybe if you had a couple extra arms. So anyways, what we want to do is we can take the first note or two away from the drum fill to make it sound more natural. So I'm going to first just erase this with the erase tool right up here. And then I want to just create a little teeny tiny little fade into this just so the audio isn't just straight cut. So now let's listen to this real quick. I mean, that would work. We could also just go back one more hit on the drum right here. And once again, do that little mini fade. Let's listen to this. Okay, it isn't perfect, but I think I like that better. I think that sounds more realistic. So now we need to go to the end of the drum fill because right here where the next crash and kick starts, the next loop starts, we still have these snare flams at the end of the drum fill. So what I'm going to do is once again, get the erase tool out and just delete these. Just want to get rid of them. And then once again, just fade this out just so it isn't a hard cut. Fading out any audio file is always a great idea. Even if it's a teeny tiny little fade, it'll help stop some of those pops and clicks from the audio files just getting a straight cut. So now let's take a listen. So all these loops can be found on my website, buffloops.com. I will put a link in the description box down below if you guys want to check it out. So that's pretty good. The only other option that we could do is actually just shift this back a whole nother measure so that we could kind of give a little time between the end kick and crash hits and then the drum fill. So let me quickly do that. So I'm going to turn snap back on and then I'm going to go ahead and go back to where our first drum loop is. I'm going to pull this back to its measure even before that, which also means I'm going to take our kick crash transition. I'm going to pull that back one measure. And now I can pull also back the drum fill. So now take a listen to this. And then listen to it in the context of the song. So I think that sounds pretty great. That really seems to fit the song a little better. Because these are loops and because these are separate drum fills, not all of them are going to work together really well. It's not going to always fit with your song. So you do have to kind of, tailor these to, depending on which drum loop you use or drum fill. You're going to have to get into a little bit of the production side of things and make sure things are actually going to fit and work. But now that we've done all this, let's go back and listen to the whole song now, this new part that we've created. Let's just take a listen to it. Very Very cool. So that sounds really good. Now to make this kick crash transition sound a little better, a little bit more like it fits in with the track, just to get in a little bit of a production here, we can actually, like, let's say we cut out one of the loops and I will take out the bass. So it just makes a little bit more sense. So take a listen to this. Now, of course, after that new drum fill that we put in, if we put the bass back in there and added our second guitar in, which let me just quickly do so you guys can hear it, we'll slide this over. So something like this. This would really make what we did with the cuts and fills really sound better. There you guys go. That is how to cut apart your drum loops and add these drum fills in, make them sound natural, make them work with your track. So guys, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to check out the Buffaloops website. Go ahead and sign up for our newsletter and you'll get the Neapolitan pack totally free. So guys, as always, thanks for watching and I will see you guys in the next video.